Praise God again. One more day again. I'm coming in your on your iPad, cell phone. It's revival time, and it's revival nuggets time. I thank God for these small pictures, and I hope it's helping you along the line. And I was sharing. I started yesterday the series, about the difference between ignorance and intelligence. And I share right now intelligence, and maybe on Thursday I will move to ignorance. Maybe next week ignorance. But there's a difference between intelligence and ignorance. And I thank God for these teachings. I said the nugget number one, an intelligent person, when you're intelligent, they ask a lot of questions. When you don't ask questions, you're undermining your intelligence. An intelligent person asks questions because they need to know more. They want to know more. When you ask questions, you get more answers. Intelligent people, they know they will never figure out how everything works. So you have to ask questions, but they want to try it anyway. So even though I don't ask questions, I'll try it. When I'm intelligent and I'm asking questions, I want to know how it works. And this one might contradict, some people might say I'm funny, but smart people get curious. Sometimes they like to fire off a barrage of questions before they jump in and get their hands dirty. And don't be smart. You just throw questions. No. Smart people ask questions in a systematic way because they want to figure out how everything works. And that's how I know so much. I can go in a meeting. Okay, I have a Zoom chat going on. And they say, I open a question. If on a Zoom chat and they say over question, I have so much question I can ask. You know why? I am intelligent. I want to know everything, how it works. People sitting right there, they don't say no and ask a question. You are showing there your intelligence is minimal. So always be ready to ask questions. Now get number two, an intelligent person, they abstract from the experiences. You're going to your experiences and you pull out things that happen to you and you use that for your benefit. Intelligent people, when you're intelligent, you know an intelligent person, they find patterns in ordinary stuff and scale them down. I will go in and take something that cannot work and I will scale that down. Because why? I always extract things from my experiences. When as an intelligent person, they're always observing tiny part of life that everyone else overlook. I like to think that people overlook, can't do, can't happen. As an intelligent person, they observe tiny parts of life that everyone else overlook, and they figure out how to explain them. I just try my best to work it out. You see, my explanation becomes a theory. And as an intelligent person, they can learn to lead to a huge breakthrough. Once you ask and question and you're using experiences, you can lead to a huge breakthrough. That's how I get breakthrough. I get breakthrough by observing the tiny parts of life that everyone overlook. Because why? I always pull things out and use it in my experiences. Now get to number three. An intelligent person, they see out puzzles and paradoxes. Sometimes as an intelligent person, sometimes that defies explanation is like a surprise present for an intelligent person. Sometimes explanation like a surprise. Sometimes I explain things and people surprised. You know why? I seek out puzzles and paradox to try to teach others at the same time. An intelligent person, they love wrapping their mind around things that can't or should not make sense because they know something caused it to happen. So I know how this come to pass. It must come from some source. So when you're a person intelligent, they love wrapping their mind around things that can't or should not make sense. And I say, hey, that must make sense. That have a way. Because a person intelligent, they know something that caused that to happen. They just don't know what it is as yet. But they always try your best to figure it out. It's like a puzzle. But give them a chance and they'll find out how it works. Intelligence always find a way to find out how it works. Look at number 4. An intelligent person, they don't get hung up on crumbs. Crumbs, lesser. Intelligent people are fine letting someone act like a jerk. It's fine. Sometimes some people, like real jerk, they're talking, they have making no sense. I like girl named Pinky. I know she talking, I listen for half an hour, and I learn nothing. Intelligent people are fine letting someone act like a jerk, as long as they don't do it over me on my time. Jerks waste your time. Don't get hung up on crumbs, useless talk, and don't get in their way. When the person talking off the head, don't waste time. You're too intelligent. You know, there will be a part of jokes and games. You know, only when I see there is nothing to learn from coming around. I could be involved in some part and game, but once I see I can't learn nothing, I gone. I don't get hung up on crumbs. That means waste of time. Intelligent people must not waste time. You let something go on, it go on. And after a while, don't make it get in your way. Move on. Look at number 5. Talk about intelligence here. An intelligent person, they have no problem with failure. Once intelligent, you have no problem with failure. Any failed experiment is just information. When I fail, I gather information. Maybe it does not pay the bills or rake in a big bunch of money, but it is always one step closer to success. Minutes they're looking for. Sometimes I fail and success close by. Any failure experiment is just information to me. When you're intelligent, you don't have to make problem with failure. Because success always there. It's always one step closer to succeed. Minutes away, you are looking for. When you are intelligent and you have the problem, you are immune to failure because failure bakes you. When you're intelligent, failure have success. And that is how you have to stay intelligent. Always expect to succeed. There is nothing like failure. God be here. See you tomorrow.